Hello everyone, we are back with another entry with the Crime Diary. If you are returning, I want to thank you. If you are a new viewer, don't forget to subscribe and also hit that notification bell so that you can get notifications as new content is provided. This entry I'm going to cover is probably one that you've seen or you heard about on the news because it's pretty popular and it just happened recently. It happened May 14th and it is a very heartbreaking story. And I also just want to do a trigger warning. It is pretty gruesome. So if you have an issue with any of that, then I would suggest that you maybe skip this video or skip this entry. As I stated earlier, on May 14, 2022, 18-year-old Peyton Gendron decided that was the day that he would go into a supermarket and slaughter 10 people. And not only did this 18-year-old terrorist slaughter 10 unarmed, innocent people, he thought it was a good idea to live stream the incident as it was taking place. The grocery store, which was named Top Friendlies Market, was located in the heart of a black community in Buffalo, New York. Reports say that 11 of the 13 people who were shot were African American. Erie County Sheriff John C. Garcia stated at a press conference that the event that took place at the supermarket was just pure evil. And I think that's honestly the only way you can describe it. The sheriff officer went on to say that this was a straight up racially motivated hate crime committed by someone outside of their community. And just to give you a little timeline or detail of what happened, the suspect arrived at the supermarket around 2:30 p.m. Reports state that he was wearing full tactical gear and he was heavily armed, and he was also live streaming as he got out of the vehicle. Apparently the tactical gear came with the helmet, and on that helmet it was a camera mounted, and that camera was live streaming on a platform called Twitch. As soon as the terrorist, and I won't call him a suspect, a man, anything, he's a terrorist. When the terrorist got out of the vehicle, he immediately gunned down 4 people, killing 3 of those people. When he entered the store, he exchanged gunfire with the armed security officer who was stationed at that market. Also reported that that security officer was a retired police officer. So the terrorists exchanged gunfire with the security officer. Unfortunately, the security officer did succumb to his injuries, and that terrorist went on to shoot 8 more people inside the market. The weapon that he used was an AR-15, and investigators believe that he purchased the high-powered magazine somewhere outside of New York. And as of right now, it's not clear whether this terrorist should have been able to even purchase a gun, and this is just based off a situation that reports show happened when he was in high school. Apparently he made a statement, or he wrote a note that had school officials worried. At that time, the terrorist was 17 years old and he was in high school. A generalized threat, which landed him in a mental institution where he had to undergo a mental evaluation. This situation took place in June of 2021. He went to that mental institution for a mental health evaluation, and after a day and a half, he was released. As you are aware, it's been a concern of some American citizens of how easy it is for these terrorists to get their hands on these high-powered weapons and do this kind of damage. And if that isn't bad enough, the 18-year-old terrorist left behind a manifesto. The author of this manifesto also goes on to talk about how the white population is dwindling in size, and that's due to basically black people. Basically, he's saying that black people are replacing white people, I guess, as the majority. In the manifesto, he describes himself as a fascist, a white supremacist, and an anti-Semite. Neighbors to the terrorist and his mother state that they never would have guessed that he had racist views, and that it's pretty shocking that he could do something like this. So when I did view the video, I noticed that as the terrorist was making his way through the supermarket, he came across a white male, and the white male began begging for his life, and the terrorist responded, "Oh, sorry," and he stopped pointing the weapon at him, and then he walked off and proceeded to shoot a black woman. And I thought that was strange until once I did further research, and it became clear that he went to this supermarket to specifically target black people. So this terrorist was arraigned Saturday on charges of first-degree murder. He is set to return to court on May 19th, and it states that he will remain in custody without bail. The arresting officer said that the terrorist made statements that made it very clear that he was targeting black people and that he had a lot of hate towards the black community. So I just have to say, when this is said and done, when they go through prosecution, I don't want to hear not one comment of mental illness. Because if you have the capacity to decide, I'm not going to shoot this person, I want to shoot these people, that's not mental illness. You know exactly what you're doing. I just hope all this outrage is continued throughout the court proceedings and he gets a justified sentence. And that's just how I feel about this whole situation. But as usual, I would love to see your take on it, so don't forget to comment down below. Also like this video. If you're new, also hit that notification bell and subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified when new content is provided.